Hey friends, it's Jaren. Recently, I've been shooting a lot with my new film camera, the Canon Dial 35-2. It is a very fun camera, very quirky, and I wanted to explain it a little bit more today and also show some of the photos I've taken. Yesterday, my wife Taylor and I, we went to the Huntington Gardens and Library, which is up in Pasadena. It's this really weird set of gardens that are styled after different themes. So there's a Japanese garden, a Chinese garden, an Australian garden, a rose garden, as well as a couple of other ones. We didn't get to see it all, but I took photos of a couple of different places, and I wanted to show them. Film is definitely much more of a hobby nowadays. It's not really practical, but it's a lot of fun, and it can have some really exciting results depending on what you do with it and how you do it. And to be fair, if you're doing large format photography, something like landscapes, then maybe film is actually practical. Regardless, let's focus on this little guy. Our first stop was a cafe, and I just took this one photo. I thought it was great, so I wanted to include it. Along the initial path to the gardens, I wanted to make sure I could get my camera kind of prepped. I really hadn't shot outside in this completely bright sunlight before. I'm going to show you this photo. I'm not proud of it, but this is what it looked like at first. So yeah, obviously I need some work. Turning to the left here, I continued to take some more photos. There's this wacky head. So most of these photos came out overexposed, but that wasn't much of a surprise. I had just started shooting. I moved into this courtyard area and I took 3 photos in a row. The last photo here has an ND filter, and this ND filter really didn't change much, which kind of surprised me. And of course, this is a wind to power camera, so I have to do that in order to keep shooting. It was at this point I decided to stop caring about the very specific details and just starting taking photos I enjoyed. So this is actually one of my favorite photos from the entire day. It just came out really beautifully. Let me tell you, this was the most beautiful scene I had seen in a very long time, especially in the Los Angeles area. I would really recommend checking out these gardens if you do live in the area. Definitely worth the $30 entrance fee.
Like, I can just imagine Aang walking from there. And them all hanging out on the stairs and stuff.
One of the things I noticed while shooting this film is that most of the things come out a little bit more sepia toned, which is definitely a trait of the Kodak Ultramax 400. It's not bad, it's just maybe not exactly what I'm looking for. Portra 400, which is also by Kodak, would probably be a better fit for me. Slightly cooler tones, which I think is something that I'm looking for. As well as a finer grain.
Mulan!
Do you see look at this little patch of rainbow right up in the sky there?
Aw, that's cute.
It's shining straight through that cloud. So I definitely liked the Chinese gardens more. The Japanese garden was a little crowded, and it was also much smaller, which is kind of funny because China is enormous compared to Japan. Haha, geography jokes. A lot of my photos have come out overexposed, especially in the sky. That's not really surprising. The battery that adjusts my f-stop is originally a 1.3 volt battery. I'm actually using a 1.5 volt because they don't make the original Mercury battery anymore. This Japanese house was especially interesting to photograph because I didn't think that this photo would turn out. And I was actually really happy. It came out great. Like I said, I haven't shot with this camera before, so I didn't know what to expect. And to be transparent, here's what a bad photo looks like. I forgot to focus at the correct distance.
Walking through our Minecraft.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Forest.
I happen to have a Minecraft server that we play on sometimes. We have a bamboo path. It looks pretty similar to this. And these are actually the last 2 photos that I took on this camera before I finished the entire roll of film. And now I'm done. He's so cute. I actually had an entire video extension planned for this where I explained the camera. I just ran out of time. I'm not trying to squeeze everything into one video here, so I'll have that prepared for next time. I think it'll be very interesting, and I'm excited to go in depth explaining how this camera actually works. One of the things I've noticed while taking photos with this camera is that it does particularly well with portraits and something that's maybe a little bit closer. As things get off into the distance, the grain really digs in and you kind of lose a lot of the detail. But when you're up close, there's actually a really nice amount of grain. And I'm interested in seeing how that works with the Portra 400 film as soon as I get some. Well, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you haven't, I would recommend watching my wedding video. Taylor and I got married November 9th of last year, and I am really happy with the video. I think most of the time people's wedding videos are just very long and drawn out, and they're not very entertaining. I wanted this video to be short and very enjoyable. We have some friends, Caleb and Nasia. They have helped me with videos in the past, and they recorded this as well. It was a beautiful video, and I'm so happy. I would really recommend checking it out if you want to get the full wedding experience. But regardless, that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.